So we are entering our 30th year here at LPGM. We started in 1995, and we really seek to walk alongside global partners, especially those that serve and support and lift up women and children. And we really want to provide them opportunities and resources for people at the margins, right? Again, especially women and children. So that's really what we're about. We're based here in the Minneapolis area. We have a small staff, and we're a 501(c)(3). I'm going to share this brief video. I hope you can hear it. If you can't, let me know. This is just a nice little overview of our origin story and how we've become involved with our global partners.
When I think about Lutheran Partners in Global Ministry from its beginning 25 or more years ago to where we are today and where we're going in the future, one of the first words that comes to my mind is hope. It's a term that recognizes the world as it currently exists. And yet, even in the face of that reality, we believe in a God who provides hope, who says that the world can and will be something different.
I would describe to my friends LPGM as an organization that is teaching us how to be global citizen in the world and what it means to walk alongside other people.
I think of the young women. In too many cultures, women have it way too hard. And LPGM is looking after those women, that little extra boost, that little extra love.
It all started, of course, with the death of our only son. We were very concerned about how the church would be finished that he had started. An architect came forward and he offered to go finish the church.
This beautiful edifice in Bangui, Central African Republic, was dedicated and named St. Timothy Lutheran. But that was kind of the start of a visioning how we might go beyond him. And it came together that we should start an organization.
We get together, build relationships with partners all around the world, Lutherans in India, in Tanzania, people of faith in Guatemala, in Central African Republic. We are committed to our ministry and mission of providing education to people at the margins, particularly women and girls. This is one impactful way that we can make a difference as a community together.
I've been a pastor at Frederick for 25 years. Gordon Betty came in, talked a little bit, and it lit a spark in the hearts of our congregation. And from there, just it's possible maybe 100 students throughout our congregation.
I see LPGM giving them hope and giving them love and giving them dreams and giving them joy.
We are just thrilled that Lutheran Partners is under good leadership, and we hope that it continues to make a difference in the lives of many people.
To all of you who are partners and individuals who are sponsors and donors, I first of all want to just say thank you. We are part of God's family doing God's work together. So thank you.
Okay. Hopefully that gave you a little background story of the organization and how we were founded. Gordon and Betty Olson are still, they're not involved in day-to-day operations, but we are in constant contact with them, and they are, of course, still the biggest champions of Lutheran Partners and Global Ministry. I'm going to hand it over to Bethany. Bethany, just let me know when you'd like me to advance the slides, but Bethany's going to go a little deeper and talk a little bit about what makes Lutheran Partners and Global Ministry unique.
Sure. Well, I don't want to just read slides at you, but this slide really just highlights why do we exist. A little bit kind of about our core values, and just to point out that we really care about God's creation, both the world, the environment, but also the people in it. And we believe that we're called to love our neighbors. And who are our neighbors? They obviously expand around the globe, not just those next door to us, literally. So we feel that the travel piece of our mission is an essential piece because it's about relationship. And it's truly how Gordon and Betty began the organization. It was through relationships, through where their son Tim was actually killed, relationships though in that church, and then continued to expand from that. And over the years, we added different partners, India with our flagship student sponsorship program, working with Lutheran boarding homes in India, and then in Guatemala with the Environmental Learning Center. And actually, Tanzania is one of our newer partnerships, but we are just so excited to have the opportunity to spend time with these partners and to really get to know them and better understand their needs then. And being that I'm the development director, really my role is chiefly to share the story of the partners and the needs they have. And it's through friends that these partnerships are able to then fuel their mission and to make those impacts. So we're really here to learn from them and how they are impacting the world. And at the heart of our mission is education. We really strongly believe that education is the best way to provide for people and to give them the best chance at life. So we're going to be talking just a little more about our vision here. Laura, I'll have you do that. So as alluded to in the video, we envision a world where relationships transform boundaries, where all people have the resources and opportunities they need to thrive. And then our mission, which is to provide access to quality education for people at the margins, especially women and girls. We do help boys and men too, but we want to just be clear that a lot of our work is with programs and partners that are focused on women and girls because they truly are the agents of change in their families and their communities. So we work together with these partners to listen, respond, and bear witness to their local needs and priorities. And at this, I'm going to turn it back to Laura.
Thanks, Bethany. This will be our very quick slide because you know where Tanzania is. You know what it's like to be there. You know the temperatures and things like that. As I was getting ready for this presentation, though, I was surprised that about some of these statistics, right? That it's 4 times the size of the UK. I didn't realize on the scale the size. And so sometimes that helps me put things into perspective. Fun fact that it has the largest concentration of animals per square mile in the world. I mean, I don't even know how they count that, but I think that's fascinating. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the enrichment and enrichment experiences that we can have together as a group through some fun kind of extracurricular activities. So I'm gonna, and then we have an arrow on this map and it's pointing to Arusha. So our partners are located outside of Arusha. And so that's where we would be spending most of the time. Bethany, I think this is your slide to talk a little bit more about and share a little more about our program partners.
Sure. So our 2 partners in Tanzania are Iripoto for Girls and Women and Mwangaza Education for Partnership. And I'm going to be just spending a little bit of time talking about each. A big piece of this trip is about spending time with and learning from the partners and hearing firsthand from some of the students impacted, and that really kind of share the story of how their lives are being impacted through our partners, which is enabled by gifts from supporters like you. So Iripoto is a word that means safety and security in the Maasai language of Ma. And it reflects their mission to protect, uplift, and create lasting change for those who need it most. They do this primarily in 2 ways. First, Iripoto operates a safe house for girls who have escaped from early forced marriage. Some of them just have really violent home situations. They hear about Iripoto and they call in the middle of the night wanting to be rescued. And Iripoto is really a place of safety and healing for them. Not only are they in a beautiful, safe, Christian environment where healing can happen both with, mental trauma and so forth, but they also do have a definite Christian faith component where, the Word of God is a part of their life there, and worship is an option. They can go to Sunday worship and so forth. Some of these young women come pregnant against their will and give birth while they're there. Some come with toddlers or babies, and Iripoto helps them take care of these children so that the moms can go back to school when boarding home is back in session. And then they've recently instituted a neighborhood preschool. as a way to give back to the community. So when the girls that are the safe house residents go to boarding home, these rooms and the little area that they use, this is now available for preschool students. And then it's just the space is constantly being used, but also Aripoto is building relationships in their very own neighborhood. So they are definitely a part of their community. These girls are a blessing to the community, and we're just so excited to partner with them. In addition to the Safe House, Aripoto also conducts community outreach education, talking about healthy choices, the values of girls' education. They reach out and work with a lot of mothers and women's groups, community groups, also educating men and boys. And in fact, right now, Aripoto also happens to be housing 2 boys that have come to them saying they needed safety. The boys stay in a different building than the girls, but just to know that this is not solely girls but mostly girls. So anyway, with that, I actually have a video I'd like to share that is this is the words and the face of Esuvat, who is she's the founder of Aripoto, and she will be our host for part of the trip. So I will let her speak her own story about her personal history and how Aripoto came to be. And throughout the video, there's also pictures of some of the girls and projects that we will be a part of.
I think the volume control is at lower right of the window.
Sorry, let me try
Laura.
that again. Yeah, let me try that again.
I can't hear it. Okay, thanks.
You can see on the far right, there's the little volume symbol.
Mercy Sengai.
Is that better?
Praise God. My name is Esuvat Lukumai. I am the founder of a reporter for girls and women. A reporter is a Mal language, which means security. A reporter mission is protect and empower girls and women in northern Tanzania through community-based education, school programs, scholarships, and safe house. I founded a reporter because of my childhood story. I was born in northern Tanzania in 1987. Due to government laws requiring all children to attend primary school, I got a chance to go to primary school. I finished it when I was 14 years old. But from there, I couldn't continue with my studies because my father received a bride price for me when I was only 12. For 4 years, I prayed to avoid this forced marriage, but unfortunately, I was taken by force to this man. But after 3 days, I escaped. I was 16 years old. I was homeless. I found a job as a housekeeper and began to save money so I could return back to school. With the help of a sponsor, I was able to complete a 2-year technical training in tailoring and secretarial, and I was able to get a scholarship to go to secondary school. And I worked so hard so that eventually I made up to the university. My story is unusual because many girls are not lucky as I was able to find support. And this is why I have passion to support other girls who are facing the same challenge as I had. Through a reporter, I started visiting schools to inspire girls by telling my story. I have met girls with so many needs. Some are at risk for forced marriages. Some need very basic things such as school uniform, shoes, exercise books, pens, and other items essential to their success in school. A reporter provides supplies whenever we can to girls from the poorest, most challenging places. We also visit churches and talk to parents, especially women, about the importance of education for girls. A reporter also has a safe house where girls who face forced marriages and violence at home can come for shelter and support. I benefited from a safe house when I was in secondary school. A safe house
started 20 years ago by Dr. Msunjili, Mark and Juliet Cutler. This support made a huge difference to me and inspired me to start a reporter's safe house, which is currently serving 14 girls and 2 toddlers born to girls who came to us already pregnant. All safe house girls are in school and they are also learning technical skills such as sewing by making bags and jewelries. The girls are empowered to support themselves. We thank God for Christ, our Shepherd Lutheran Church, for your prayers and support. We ask you that you continue holding up the needs of many women in Tanzania who are struggling with violence and poverty. We are making a huge difference in their life. Masisengai.
All right. Thank you, Laura.
Sorry about the technical issue there.
All right. And just to point out a couple things, I know that went by pretty fast. And if you didn't catch it, forced marriage is what she mentioned again and again. She did mention Mark and Julie Cutler, who are friends of hers. They are actually the ones that introduced LPGM to SUVAT. And Julie Cutler is an author who has written this wonderful book, Among the Maasai. If you've not heard of it, you have it, Carol, you've read it, great. This is a book that's on our reading list for people to read if they haven't yet had a chance. It's a good one, and it tells the story of Julie and her husband Mark when they went to Tanzania to be English teachers and how they discovered a lot of things and now are working in other professions, but they continue to have a heart for this people and supporting her and her mission and all of this. So we are grateful to the Cutlers for that. And if you'd like, I do have copies of the annual report that I could send you, Carol and Brad, or anyone who's interested, which is just astounding. The work that they do and the vision to grow. Since the last year that we were there with Dan, they have built a foundation for an expansion and are currently done with the first floor. And as they raise more funds, they'll build more floors so that they will hopefully by the end of that building have room for 116 girls. And then when those girls are at school, they will utilize those rooms for other trainings and preschool and tailoring and other things for women in the community. So it's just this really beautiful thing. Questions?
Bethany, well, I'm going to be at the Synod Assembly, and I know you're going to have a booth there. Would you
Yes.
have a copy? Could you bring
I
a
will.
copy of that?
I would love to
I
bring
can
you a
pick it up
copy.
then.
Yes, I will do that, Carol. Please,
Thank you.
please stop by. I also am going to have a raffle or like some kind of a raffle basket, and there will be a copy of that in there as well. But I'll have a copy for you too. And so, anyway, our second partner that we will be spending time with is Mwangaza. Again, a beautiful Swahili word that means light. It represents hope, enlightenment, and the power of knowledge. And Mwangaza was actually founded by a woman from the Twin Cities years ago with very deep Lutheran connections, but it is now, its own entity, its own approved 501c3 basically in Tanzania. And it's basically a group of teachers who teach teachers. So training teachers and also speaking to students and school groups and parent and community groups about the importance of basically it's like nonviolence and the power of peace and communication techniques to help reduce violence and to increase understanding and in really it's enhancing education, especially for girls who caning is still a big part of what happens in classrooms today with classroom management. But these teachers are being trained how to employ better methods to reach children that may be not behaving or not turning in their homework or whatever. They're teaching the teachers to understand and have more empathy towards these students' situations, oftentimes which are direct results of their culture or climate change or other things that are impacting their lives and making education difficult. And so they have an initiative called the SAFE Initiative. And I also have material about this that I can send to you or have at my table this weekend, Carol, and you can bring a copy for Brad and Marcia and anyone else you'd like with just more information about their objectives. They're, really it's amazing. And that's what Laura also, Laura from Gloria Day is doing research at government schools that are part of Mwangaza's school base where they are working. So all of the 150 people that she's interviewed as part of her research, these are all people that are receiving the services of Mwangaza. And we're really excited to be coming closer and working more closely with Friends of Mwangaza, which is like their volunteer and their board entity in the United States. And LPGM is kind of joining with them to take over some of the things, not take over, but to merge some aspects so that we can work stronger together and make more of an impact for them and their mission. So we're really excited to spend time with students in classrooms, in government schools, actually participating in some of these exercises and games and things that they use to help teach these lessons of nonviolence. And yes, they do speak in English, so it's going to be, a really fun experience, like a hands-on thing to get to know students in their classroom setting and so forth. So that is Mwangaza in a nutshell.
Thanks, Bethany.
Yes.
Any questions so far about our program partners or anything like that? No? Okay, fantastic. I'll move to the next slide here, and I'm not going to read it word for word. I'll let you take a peek at it, but really this kind of is an overview of what LPGM would provide to you for your trip, right? And so really what that is a dedicated person to help with all of the logistics, all of the pre-trip logistics, assistance with booking your flights, handling any issues that come up in country by having the in-country group leader, the host, which is Bethany, who's Bethany on this upcoming trip, and just kind of trying to think about it like where you are right now and thinking through participating in an LPGM trip all the way through until you come back, and what is that post-trip support and that re-entry process, and trying to provide the support not just in country, but making sure that you have all the tools and resources to maximize your benefit, right? And maximize what you want to get out of the trip. And so this is kind of what we're able to offer as part of our trip experience. And I would be the person that would be supporting you in kind of all of the preparation and all of the return aspects. And then Bethany would be your contact in country. I'll share next just a little brief itinerary. This is kind of a sketch out. This is certainly not day by day or a minute by minute by any means, but really, again, we talked about our itineraries include visits to our program partners. That typically is about a day with Arapoto. And then with Mwangaza, it kind of depends on the activity level of what they're doing. At that time, we do know there's going to be a very large peace summit while the group is there. And so that will be a really exciting opportunity to come alongside. And the peace summit is peace clubs, meaning students who formed these clubs and are really champions for nonviolent communication and peaceful conflict resolution, coming together in a large adolescent conference and excitement and sharing and lessons learned and dancing and things like that. So that is a very exciting opportunity that the travelers will have to come alongside for that. There'll be a visit to a local Maasai village. And then I talked a little bit about this kind of some additional add-ons and opportunities with safari experiences, which would be staying at a safari lodge and going on game drives and nature hikes. We do offer and will facilitate evening reflections. There'll be opportunities for worship if you'd like to participate in that. And then some shopping at local markets to bring home any trinkets or things like that for your family members or kids, grandkids, neighbors, all of those things. So it's not sketched out. It's not solid yet. We're really working on that itinerary. Carol, you mentioned some flexibility and some curiosity around that. And I think that there's a lot of opportunities. The group is currently a little bit on the smaller side. So I think we have a lot of opportunities to do as best to do it to customize to the best of our ability, given what your desires are and what our needs are. But it will include kind of those program activities, right? The visiting of the partners and having time and exchanges with our partners. And then some of those other areas that might be optional. There might be opportunities to kind of segment off if some of the group wanted to do something, or maybe even make a full pivot. And I believe when it comes to the Maasai village, what we're looking at for our visit would be to Musa's village. So
Okay.
just to kind of put that out there, that we're in some preliminary discussions, but I think he was very
Good.
hospitable and welcoming to that possibility of our village visit being within his community. So any questions about this component in the itinerary or what to expect from LPGM? I will
No,
say
I'm
that you
glad
have it. Sorry, go ahead, Carol.
I was going to say, I'm glad to hear that there's a potential going to Moose because we had planned to do that and we were thinking, well, we'd have to maybe leave your group early or, do it the day of safaring or whatever. So,
No,
so that
yeah.
would be great if it could be combined.
I think that I think there's real potential for that. I think we still have some details to sort out, but it sounds like it's very possible. I will make a quick note about sometimes people say, well, what are the accommodations like, or what is the food going to be like, or what kind of car am I going to be in? And so just to kind of get out ahead of any questions like that, have been told the accommodations are lovely, the food is delicious, and the rides are what you would expect in Africa, right? Not a bus, but like a minivan or things like that. And then safari trucks, right? And so I'd say as far as access and ability, I think that there's, you know where you are, you're in Tanzania in Africa, but as far as comfort level, I think it is a comfortable trip. Dan has been on several trips. And so I think this is one where we work with a local tour company and they help with the logistics, so the hotels and the transfers and the transportation. And so I've been told it's a really lovely experience, and just a few pictures on this slide to kind of wet your whistle or things like that. So here, I'll show you a few more slides here. These are some from our past trips and also just a little peek at accommodations. So we're gonna now just quick segue over. I want to be mindful of time here, but we're gonna talk to Bethany a little bit. Bethany mentioned she's been our development director since 2020, and she has gone on several international trips and has been the leader, right, for one and a co-lead for the other. So this will be her first trip to Tanzania, but she has come at it from being a leader before, and we're very thrilled that she'll be our group leader for this trip. I would love to just do a little interview so you can get an idea of who Bethany is. I'm going to ask her 3 questions, which she did have ahead of time, so I think she's prepared to respond. But this is our little
I didn't get
interview
to write the
portion.
questions, though. That's the difficulty.
That's true. I sent them to you this morning. So Bethany, could you tell us, when you travel, what is one thing you'll never leave home without?
Ziploc bags. So many uses for a Ziploc bag of different sizes, whether it's, keeping your clothes and your packing stuff organized, or to have extra in case you have like some leftover messy item like food or something you want to bring with you for later, or to put a muddy boot in, or the uses are endless. So I think I learned that trick from my mom, who, like, growing up in the 70s, it was like every road trip she had a little baggie with a wet washcloth in it, and that was just her solution to like everything that the girls in the back seat needed. Is, oh, use this, and not feeling good, oh, here's a wet wash rag for your head, or here, wipe your fingers or your mouth or whatever. So kind of just that that baggie comes in really handy. Yeah, lots of bags. And dirty clothes too. It always is good to have a dirty clothes bag.
That's a good tip. We'll make sure that's on our packing list if it's
Okay.
not right now. Second question for you, Bethany. Can you share a brief story from your last trip and tell us when that was, where you felt God's presence?
Oh, yes. So I had the opportunity to lead a group from Our Savior's Lutheran Church in Faribault, Minnesota, on an adventure of a lifetime to visit our partner in Guatemala. And that group ranged from a boy who was about 9 years old up to a retired woman who came on her own, just had that spirit of adventure. And her husband said, you go on ahead. And she did. And I'm so glad. There were families there and teenagers there. But there was one young man on the trip who was a young adult, working man, and he came with his mom and sister and stepdad, and one night we were having our reflection sitting around the front beautiful porch in this, just idyllic cloud forest, beautiful, lush environment with trees and birds and butterflies and you name it. And we'd had some ups or some hills and valleys that day. It was like a tough day emotionally, physically. There was a lot of hiking that day. We were dealing with a lot of mud, and just it was kind of that part of the week where it's like, oh, wow, what did I sign up for? What's happening? But the question I asked was, where is a place that you saw God today? Just gave people a chance to reflect on that. And, this kind of gruff 20-something looking guy with the trucker's hat and kind of a tough attitude. And he was the first to answer. And he just said, where didn't we see God today? And that just gave me the chills. And I saw God in him that when he said that, when he made that comment. So I think there's such a beauty to traveling and coming together and as a group with different backgrounds, different perspectives, but a lot of similarities too. But just to be able to really kind of dissect the feelings and the emotions and the questions and maybe guilt or ideas and, just to have a safe space for people to bring that every day. Not everyone always had to talk or had to participate, but it was just beautiful to see those answers come out and to just build that church relationship between these families and individuals. And also our partners were part of those conversations too. So it was just a really neat experience.
Thank you. That was great. Final question. What has surprised you most being a traveler with LPGM?
I would say surprised, not surprised, but how small the world is. Just the many connections that we share and to find out the similarities and things that connect us are so much stronger than the things that divide us. And there's just so many life lessons to learn through travel, wherever you go. So traveling with LPGM is just a unique way to combine faith and travel and curiosity and learning and relationships and fun and culture and food and all the things kind of into a neat package with other people that are perhaps approaching it with a similar set of curiosity and values and different as well. We all learn. Yeah.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Bethany. It's nice to get to know you a little bit better, although I've known you for a long time.
Thank you, Laura.
We'll go to just the last slide here that we have, and that is next steps. I would love to answer any questions you have either now or certainly in the future. I'll send you both an email today. I think I sent you the email with the link, but I'll send you a follow-up email as well, just outlining these next steps with some links if you're interested in moving to the next step. But really, it's about reserving your space. We are accepting deposits. Our requested deadline is June 1st, so we understand what the group composition is going to look like, and it's a $300 deposit. We'll secure your space with the group, and then the balance is due a few weeks prior to that. I know we have probably some more conversations to have about itinerary development and kind of maybe being collaborative about where we're going and who are we seeing and what that would look like. So that would be part of it as well. And if that needs to happen in advance of making a deposit, I would invite those conversations for us to schedule some time, either on a meeting for coffee in person or hopping on another Zoom call here to discuss some of those logistics and some of those details. But are there any questions that you have right now that I can answer for you?
I have a couple. How many do you have registered so far, and how many do you have room for total?
Great question. We have 3 registrants so far. I think we have a couple other individuals that are interested as well. We really, and I'll make sure that Dan and Bethany chime in on this as well, but my understanding is we really try to get groups of 6 because that's really when it comes to the safari vehicle and filling a full vehicle. So we're really looking for probably 3 more travelers to round out that first vehicle. And then if there is enough interest to fill a second vehicle, then that would really kind of put us into that 12 traveler, which would be inclusive of Bethany. So 11 travelers plus the group leader. Did I get that right, Bethany and Dan?
Yes, you did.
Yes, and I am here as well. I just turned my video off.
Thanks, Stan.
Fred, you said you had some other questions.
No, I just combined the two into one.
Okay, great. Carol, any questions from you?
No, I had the same question that Brad had, is just
Okay.
kind of getting a feel. And thank you for offering to meet with us to see if we can make this work
That sounds
with our
great.
other trips. So,
Wonderful. Fantastic.
Absolutely. It would be so great if it did.
mhm.
And I want to say a shout out to Laura because she is still really new on our staff, but she has just like dove in with both feet and has done such a great job with getting things organized and figuring out new systems and all this.
Yeah.
And this last year we actually had two big retirements. So if you notice, there were a couple of faces featured in the video in the beginning that are not on this webinar today. It's because we lost two key people on our staff due to retirement, which happens. So we didn't have sort of that continuous ramp up promoting the trip. From as far back as we typically would, being that we were, a small staff of 4 going through filling big positions. But Laura, you've been awesome, and I'm so excited to see how this trip is going to turn out. And I am planning to promote the heck out of it this weekend at the Mission Fair at this St. Paul Synod Assembly. And then we have some other things as well that we'll be advertising it in. So hoping for, folks that maybe are on the edge, but, this video perhaps will be what helps get them over the edge or the fear and make their deposits or reach out to us to at least find out more information, because it's definitely a trip that is, I think everyone that's been on it has just said, wow, go, go, go. Like, don't wait. This is a pretty phenomenal opportunity. And I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
Bethany. Dan, any final comments from you? We're coming up on time here. I think we kind of said about 45 minutes was what we were hoping to achieve. So
No, I really appreciate meeting both of you, and hope this works out for you. It really is a cool opportunity to travel, and although you've been to Tanzania in the past, it sounds like I think you'd get a lot out of this. It's great.
great. Fantastic. I will do this. I'll send a follow-up message later today or early tomorrow, just with some embedded links, just to make it easier if you're wanting to make that deposit and move forward. And certainly then you'll have my contact information, including phone number for setting up any follow-up calls that you'd like to have. Or if you have someone else you want to hand off over to me to have a one-on-one call or walk through some elements, all you have to do is let me know, and I'll definitely make space and time to do that. So if there's no other questions, I just want to thank you so much for your time today and for joining us. Like I said, this was kind of at least my inaugural travel webinar. So I appreciate your patience with the technical difficulty and kind of moving through the sharing. We're very, we feel deeply and passionately about our partners and the work that they do. So I think it's easy for us to talk and share about it, and we would love to share it with you in Tanzania on the ground in September. So please send questions. I'll send a follow-up message, but thank you for joining us and for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Take care.